Let's see if you can hear all that garbage. What is up, you guys? It's me, and I have an exciting video for you today. In this video, we are going to be going through my 2022 TBR. So basically, I am hoping to get about 12 books read this year. That's one every month, so fingers crossed that I can actually accomplish that. Okay, let's talk about it. So it's March now, and I am just now posting this video because I was hesitant to post it in the first place because, I don't know, insecurity. Yeah, so this is that. Have a nice, enjoy. Spoilers, I have already begun checking off the list, so yay me, I suppose. I am all set for January. A lot of them are pretty popular books. Some of them are questionable choices, but hey, that's me and this is my year. So let's get started. So the first book that I wanted to read this year was After We Fell by Anna Todd. After We Fell. This book is about... So the thing about this book,
Book is about nothing. Why did you start with a book that's about nothing?
So this book is the third book in the After series, which started as a Harry Styles fan fiction posted on Wattpad. Her username was Imaginator1D. I originally got into reading this series as a joke, you know, for the memes. I originally had wanted to make a video about it freshman year when I had started reading the first book. I even wrote like a whole thing and I filmed the video and I hated it, so I just never did that. But still, I had read the first book. I just wanted to know if she was gonna leave him, and so I read the second book and I got sort of invested in the drama of their whole situation. I just want to know if either he is going to like commit to her and like they have like a happily ever after, or if she's eventually going to leave him, which would probably be the best situation, is if she leaves him. But anyway, enough of that. I finished this book at the beginning of this month already, so here it is. I have checked it off the list. There is my book for January, and that is number 1 on my TBR. Done. Lo and behold, the second book in my TBR happens to be the final book of the After series, which is called After Ever Happy. Frankly, I think that's a stupid title. I think that she should have called it After Ever After. Maybe she didn't call it After Ever After because she didn't know which of the afters would be big in the title. So, fair, I guess. But anyway, I'm planning on reading that at some point this year to see if she finally leaves him. Fingers crossed. So the third book that I would like to read this year is Song of Achilles. This is by Madeline Miller, and this is a copy that I am borrowing from my roommate. Shout out to Mari. I've heard a lot of good things about this book. She herself told me that this is a good book, and she is a classics double major, so I think that I trust her opinion. Mostly, I've heard that this book is Greek and gay, and that sounds really good for me, so I look forward to reading it. Keeping up with the Greek trend, I would also like to read Circe by Madeline Miller. I was told that if I liked Song of Achilles, that I would also like Circe, so I'm hoping that I like both of them. I don't have a copy of that one yet. I believe my roommate also has a copy of that, so I look forward to borrowing that one from her as well. So I'm sort of on a Greek mythology kick this year. I found this book. Look at this cover. Look at my Queen Medusa. I just had to pick it up. This one is called Lore. It is by Alexandra Bracken, or Braken, and it looks pretty good. This one sort of has that AU or alternate universe vibe. There is this, what's called the Agon or Aegon. I'm not sure, but every 7 years this thing happens and some gods are forced to walk the earth. So I'm getting some fun vibes and I'm hoping that it's delicious. So the next book that I am absolutely thrilled to read this year is A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. Did I say that right?
Hania Yanagihara.
This book I have been so excited to read since I saw a review. Let me look for this review. I have been wanting to read this book since I saw a review by Paperback Dreams, who is a fantastic booktuber channel. I've heard that this book gets really real and very sad, and that sounds totally up my alley. Depress me, please. I have been looking for a copy of this book for a while, and I finally got one. I got this used online. It was from the Worcester Public Library. It's a retired book from the library. I love me a retired library book, but I look forward to reading that one. Okay, I promise this is the last Greek mythology thing that I'm reading. Well, planning to read anyway. This is Eurydice, written by Sarah Rule. I can only assume that it is based off of the Greek myth Orpheus and Eurydice. Is that all I'm gonna say every time is that I'm really excited to read this book? I suppose. This is a play, and I'm very excited to read it. Up next, I have been dying to read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I have heard so much about this book. So many people have told me this is such a good book. This is the best book of the year, blah, 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 blah. I need to read this book. I've heard that it is going to be the next classic novel. So obviously it's good, right? It's about Evelyn Hugo, this celebrity woman. She's well loved, and she is finally sitting down and telling the story of her life, and I'm just so excited to read it. Goodness, I didn't even say that this is by Taylor Jenkins Reid. It's by Taylor Jenkins Reid. The next book that I want to read is The Duke and I by Julia Quinn. Now, if you have seen Bridgerton, then you know this story. This is the first book in the Bridgerton series, and I watched the first season of Bridgerton, and I fell in love, and I need more, so I am gonna read this book series. So this is the first of many Bridgerton books. Keeping with the Regency period, I am going to finally read Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. The first and only book that I have read by Jane Austen is Pride and Prejudice, and that became my favorite book of all time. So it would make sense that I read more of her work, right? Well, I have owned this copy of Sense and Sensibility for quite some time, and I need to actually sit down and read it. So that's gonna come up pretty quick, I think, in the year. The next book that I want to read this year is On the Road by Jack Kerouac. This is my boyfriend's favorite book, and I have yet to read it. I'm hoping to get his annotated copy and read that one so that I can see the cogs turning in his brain. I've heard that it's one of the great American novels, so I'm hopefully going to like it. The final book that I would like to read this year, perhaps not last in the year, but last on this list, is Good Omens. This book is written by Neil Gaiman and Terry. This book is by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett and is about an angel and a demon joining forces to stop the end of the world, I believe, and that sounds utterly delightful. I have not yet seen the show, which I really should, because David Tennant is in it and he plays the demon, and I love David Tennant, but I've been waiting to read the book because I've been meaning to read books before I watch the movie and film adaptation versions of them, and I've been failing at it lately, but I am going to read this book. So, that is all I have for you today. I hope you were inspired by my list to make your own list and start reading all of the books this year. I look forward to updating you as to whether or not I have actually read these books, and bye.
While I'm balanced on a mountain